This time on Video Game Tango, we've got some thoughts on the Batman. Then after the break, we talk Activision Blizzard's roadmap of actual game announcements with dates. From Software heard us talking about Elden Ring and decided to bless us with a new Armored Core because of it. And Sony is in talks with Amazon to bring God of War to Prime Video.
Nick here with a bad tip. If your Elden Ring has been erect for more than 4 hours, consult your nearest grace site.
Hi, I'm Josh, and to paraphrase John Mayer, your body is an open world.
My name's Russ, and I'm bringing you all that hot goss on which Pokemon's pregnant and who the daddy is.
And just a reminder, check out videogametango.com. You can subscribe to us via many podcast services there. You can watch our entire YouTube catalog there, and you can watch us live from the site. What can it do? Let's get ready to tango. Hey everyone, Andy here. Just wanted to let you know before the podcast starts that we talk about the movie The Batman for the first portion of the podcast, and while we tried to keep it spoiler-free, it ended up having some light spoilers. If you understandably don't want to have any portion of the movie spoiled for you, no matter how light the spoilers are, jump to the 26-minute marker for your spoiler-free segment of the Video Game Tango podcast. Well, a couple of you guys went to go watch a movie this week.
Vengeance.
Did we watch a movie?
Yes.
What movie did we watch?
The Batman.
Oh, that's right. I literally just did that like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
So,
It was excellent. It was awesome. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
Absolutely. So, this is probably one of the best Batmans. I would definitely say that.
And I think it's my favorite Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the bar for me with Batmans is always Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
Just due to like its unique vision and its execution and its nostalgia. It's like a whole trifecta of things.
For sure.
What's honestly so, and Andrew went and watched it with me. Some very basic movie things they'd got right. The fight scenes are not fucking cut fiestas. You can clearly see all the fight scenes. And in the movie, there's like 3. In a 3-hour Batman movie, there's like 3 fight scenes. Because you know what Batman's doing almost that entire movie? Being a fucking detective.
Yeah. I was going to say that's the number one for me is they really tapped into that detective feel of Batman.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, the movie hits more like a suspense thriller.
It's like we're hunting a killer situation.
It definitely hits more like a suspense thriller than a Batman movie, than a comic book movie, right?
It's like year 2/3 of Batman's like career of being Batman, and it's clear that he's like not got a lot of things figured out yet. You know, he's mostly out there just dishing out street level vengeance, and then this is like his first encounter with like a big baddie.
does he
a
kill
super
people?
villain.
He does not kill people.
He doesn't kill people, but he will put your ass in the hospital.
Yeah. This one definitely seems like everything he's doing to people is definitely less lethal than other Batmans have been. You know, there's no throwing stars to the face and like, he's fine. He's just sleeping.
He's asleep.
Okay, bad. But no, like there's like in a few of the findings, like he like puts some people down pretty hard, and you're like,
there's a ton of showing and not telling in this one. Like it's really huge and apparent. So you think about Christian Bale Batman and stuff with all Batman's tech. It's like one, you're getting the full origin story arc from the very start all the way through up to like, you know, he's a seasoned Batman, and through that they're like, I have this relationship with this guy at the tech firm at Wayne Industries, and this is
You're talking about the Dark Knight series?
Yeah, all the Christian Bale stuff. And they really show you, and that's not bad because it's cool to watch him like get the new toys and the new tech as time goes on and stuff. They don't do any explanation of like where he's getting his tech from or anything like that in this movie. It's just like the first big one is he's got like a contact lens camera that he's wearing.
yeah.
And they don't even really like make a big deal of it. It's literally just like at one point he's just like, okay, I'll pull this out, and you're like, oh shit, he's literally just recording everything with his contact lens camera. That's dope.
Yeah.
Is he an oligarch, entrepreneur, mogul like the other Batmans?
He's the Wayne Enterprises.
He's still
So you
Wayne
just assume, okay,
Enterprises.
that's where he's getting his stuff.
They're like, he's a rich guy. He's getting his.
Once again, you know who Batman is, right? So they don't have
Yeah.
to tell you. He's a fucking billionaire, whatever, zeros he has on his bank account.
And who's the antagonist in this one?
The Riddler.
The Riddler.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's cool because it's not your Jim Carrey over the top Riddler. It's your much like a domestic terrorist / serial killer Riddler.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't want to. It's hard to get too much more into the Riddler Batman dynamic without giving like too much of the movie away plot wise.
So the guy that plays Riddler, I know him from other stuff. Like I've recognized him stuff, but I forget who it is.
Paul Dano.
You need to show a picture.
His face looks like I've seen him.
Yeah.
He looks like Christian Bale
Is that
from American
Hot Tub Time
Psycho, but
Machine guy?
young.
Maybe that's a bad reference.
Let me pull him up here.
Bring up like what else? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
he's a bad guy from something else.
Oh, he was in Looper. He was the other.
He's the other assassin in
He's
Looper.
the other assassin in Looper.
He was in There Will Be Blood.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
the young
the
one.
preacher.
Yeah.
That's where I know
That's the
him
last
from.
thing I remember specifically seeing him in was that. What else? So the crazy one is Colin
Farrell. Oh my god, dude,
as Penguin.
Mind blowing.
Oh yeah, forget
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean it's Penguin, but it's Oswald Cobblepot, right?
Yeah.
It's not your standard over the top Batman villain. It's him. But like you should bring up a picture of what Penguin looks like in this movie.
Yeah.
Got
it, Andy?
I know the viewers can't see and stuff like.
Yeah.
That's
Colin Farrell.
That's Colin Farrell in that movie.
That's
it was
pretty wild.
insane. Like I leaned over because I knew this going in, and I told Andy after they showed him and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's fucking Colin Farrell, and he's like,
okay.
what?
So I didn't know that was Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm watching the movie. I was like, man, I wonder who Penguin was. And I see it rolling by, and I see Colin Farrell. What?
Full on deserves an award for cosmetics. This is probably some of the best cosmetic work I've
That
seen.
looks convincing. I mean,
my God.
I'm only seeing stills, but it sounds like it was really
I've
good.
seen a
Oh, no,
trailer
it
play
was-
as an ad on YouTube a million times. I did not know it was Colin
Yeah,
Farrell.
he doesn't sound like him.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't look like him.
So he almost had security called on him by one of his co-stars. Like he walked up to someone to like talk to them, and they're like, okay,
This gross hobo.
yeah, great. And then like he was talking about going to Starbucks and ordering a coffee. He's like, yeah, I got my coffee with an oat milk and 2 stevia. And the lady looked at him, he's like, yeah, you drink oat milk coffee, sure.
Yeah,
It's like-
that's funny.
but no, absolutely wonderful cosmetics.
If I had to ding Dark Knight for something, it would be the first thing off the top of my head is that Heath Ledger's Joker stole the show,
Yeah.
That's what.
which
if that's
isn't a bad
negative.
thing, but it was noticeable. Did Pattinson get an opportunity to play his Batman?
So absolutely, 100%. Like Pattinson, like there's the most striking moments for me is in the times when he comes back to the Batcave, like he's been out and he's trying to find this killer and stuff, and he like takes off his cowl, like the emotion of just being fucking exhausted, and like
Living a
not
double
connected to society. He doesn't live a double life.
Yeah, there
He's a recluse as a Wayne. Like he doesn't go to board meetings or anything like that. His life is being Batman. He doesn't. And
Interesting.
they talk about it. It's like he kind of narrates a little bit because he's writing in a journal describing what he's been doing, and it's been like 2 years of him doing this, and he hasn't stopped. It's like every night he's out there on the streets doing street level fucking justice, and like he has the black mascara around his eyes because of his mask, and so when he takes his cowl off and it's like running down, and he's just sitting there just like on his computer like fucking got to figure out this fucking mystery and shit. It's fantastic.
It's good to see that it's really become more popular in the last 10, 15 years, that side of superheroes that is more human.
Yeah, especially when you have someone that he doesn't have superpowers, right?
Yeah.
This is just a dude. This is taking a toll on this guy, and he's very young. He feels younger, even though that's kind of the dichotomy. You're looking at him, you're like, well, you're not an old man. You're a young guy. You're in your like mid-20s or something like that, but you look like you're just fucking over it. It's so much work every night. But they did a really cool thing with the Batmobile.
Dude, I dug the Batmobile.
Oh, the Batmobile's sick. I mean, look-wise, but
Batmobile is dope looking.
what I
bro.
liked is like through the first couple parts of the movie, like you'll see the Batmobile covered in the back with like a tarp, but then like there's an engine block sitting out, and then at one point they're showing like the different drivetrain chains and stuff. You could tell that like it was down this cave. He's building a Batmobile himself, you know, and then it gets revealed later on. Not everything works out perfectly for him. Oh god! So the scene he goes to the top of the police station, and he's trying to make an escape from the top of the police station. Yeah, it's a gorgeous.
Yeah, that's
machine.
dope.
And he has this moment where like he gets to the very top, and the police station in Gotham has like a massive tower, so it's like dozens of stories tall. And as he jumps up onto the ledge because he's getting ready to like try to make an escape, he literally has like I'm a human, and this is really fucking tall. And then he's like, okay, well I have equipment for this, so like fucking puts on his fucking flight suit.
Yeah,
and jumps
dude,
off,
that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, I don't mean, how much are we spoiling stuff? I don't even know if I've already done it.
I would
Not
avoid
yet.
spoilers. Yeah.
I don't mind minor scenes, and my questions, I'm going to veer more towards the meta stuff, like that stuff.
That's a
Because
really
if you're giving
neat
that
scene.
good of a recommendation, I will probably try to find time and watch it.
I recommend it. So we'll talk about negatives. So negatives now. There's not a lot of them.
Very few.
It's long. And Andrew and I talked about this after the movie. The easiest way that they could have just trimmed down the feel, like I don't mind a long movie, but if it feels long, something's not right. And it felt like it went on a little too long. What you could do to fix that,
Usually pacing.
it's the pacing's phenomenal through almost all the stuff, but there's they put fucking Selena Kyle in the movie, Catwoman. And if they just cut out all of the Selena Kyle fluff from that movie, they probably could have lost like 15, 20 minutes from the movie, and it would have been better because they literally make a romance start between Catwoman and Batman, and it's like, it's so Hollywood to do that. Like, I'm not gonna say like cut Catwoman out entirely, because it's nice having a powerful female character in your movie, and Catwoman's pretty fucking dope, but it could have been just them like kind of crossing paths, helping solve this crime. But then they just added all this extra fluff to it, and it was like, stop, we don't need it. We don't.
Catwoman is often a love interest of Batman.
I know that. Does it need to be in this movie?
I think
Your
Russ
introduction
has got a point in a very common saying in movies, especially, is that if it's not directly serving the movie, it needs to go, because
Yes.
you always have more footage than you have movie. You always have to trim.
Unless it's establishing character for a sequel.
I was going to say it's
But then that's
You
not
can
a
keep her
good
in the
reason
movie.
to have stuff in a movie, because at that point you're like, oh, let's establish the next 6 movies in one movie, right? Where do you draw the line? So having not seen it, I don't have an opinion on that. I wonder, is any of that an homage to the original Catwoman and the Michael Keaton one?
I mean, all of it's an homage to just Batman's story, right? He obviously has a love interest with Catwoman at some point. But I'm saying is like, it's the first movie with Pattinson. You're doing this cool thing, different pacing and stuff. You can introduce Catwoman. You can have Selena Kyle in the movie, and she can do stuff with Batman. And all you need is like, now if you make a sequel and you want to have a love interest, you have them have history together already. It always seems artificial and forced that these two people meet and they're like, we have a very visible, obvious love connection that's happening here, and it seems forced because they haven't had enough time to develop that. I think it kind of cheapens what real like romances build as.
I mean, I disagree. These are two people that have really nothing but their personas and their vengeance at this point. And they help each. I mean, they go through extreme situations. I'm saying bonding happens in extreme situations, and I didn't feel it was overt.
What I'm saying, did it make the movie worse? No.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Was it unnecessary and they could have shortened the runtime if they'd gotten rid of it? Yes. Would I think the movie would have been better if it had been shorter? Yes. That's where I would cut for time. I would cut the Selena Kyle love interest stuff. So,
Okay.
and I'm very familiar with trauma bonds. Like I don't think that it's unreasonable that they have a connection, but you can film a sexual chemistry between two characters without having them have to like physically kiss. You know, that's a better mark of filmmaking if you can express
Right.
that without the actual like in your. That's what I mean. It's like it's in your face.
Fair enough. I would have omitted like the kissing, like what led
Yes.
up to the kissing of that, but that's still only like
And the last scene, the only redeeming factor I liked because they have like a tender goodbye as they part ways and stuff. And the only thing I liked about that is that she references Bloodhaven, which is dope because that's where Red Hood and Robin eventually, you know, it's Batman canon stuff.
Yep.
It's fan service. It's fan service.
Nice little taste.
There should be more of that. I'd also say they do have like kind of a teaser of like the Joker when they're in Arkham Asylum. I didn't really care for that. I don't really think it makes a whole lot of sense all that much, but that's fine. Whatever. It's another Batman movie trope, and I want my Batman movies to try to get away from all the other Batman movie tropes.
A tropeless Batman movie.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they did such a good job of getting away from some of those tropes.
The origin
that,
story
like,
stuff that I was afraid was going to be
right?
in there
That was the number one. I was like, they did it well, right? I mean,
yes, there is no fucking montage or deep dive into how Batman became an orphan. It's literally just like it's a point in Gotham's history where this billionaire philanthropist who was running for mayor died, and so did his wife. Tragic, right?
yeah.
It is kind of a pivotal plot point as far as the Riddler's involved. I won't get like I don't. It's
Yeah, like so, like
They do
that's
come
where-
back with
That's
origins,
like a tiny bit.
It's not like the other movies where it's just constantly like there's like feels like a 20-minute devotion to
Yeah.
fucking his parents dying. I didn't have to watch beaded necklaces fly off in slow motion and
Yeah, there was no real Uncle Ben, you know.
yeah.
I was gonna
There's no
say-
Uncle Ben of it, you know.
Specifically to that, like we have been taught that it is okay to do the origin story for superheroes repeatedly. That's just how things are done, right? But you imagine watching A New Hope 9 different times.
yeah.
Like it's like
seen
it
it
seems
2
odd.
different
It
times.
seems weird.
Yeah, we watched it twice and a lot of people complained.
Yeah, it's like, we know how Batman works.
It makes sense to do origin stories when you have an unfamiliar character, like with
Or a new audience.
or
You
even
know,
an-
like
well, new audience,
superheroes
that's
coming
generational.
to movies was a new big thing. You know,
Or if it's an alternate version of the superhero.
sure, if you want to give them a different backstory, right?
That's different. Yeah, you're showing because that's new content.
Yeah, that's
right?
you know, I mean,
Oh, I have to say, so you know that I got a question. It's probably going to be like some sort of spoiler. Sorry. There's a moment when he injects himself.
yes.
That looked like fucking Bane venom.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you're gonna like inject yourself with a stimulant to like kind of like an adrenaline shot, right? You can do that. If it's fluorescent green, you have to be implying that it's like
Yeah.
a Bane serum, right?
Yeah.
And I know that there's a Batman storyline where like he experiments with like Bane serum, and then there's essentially a dimensional
I've dabbled.
forking that happens where you have Batman who like I tried Bane serum as like an adrenaline shot to boost combat performance and realized it has a bunch of negative effects and I stopped. And then you have Batman that gets addicted to Bane serum.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, like
Bane Man.
yeah, Bane Man. I'm kind of curious to see how that will play into future.
I
Bane
I
Batmans.
also had that suspicion. I was like,
it has to be like I
that
mean, that's
wasn't
right.
just
it's like
that wasn't just go juice, man. Come
yeah,
on, no.
yeah. Everyone knows that an adrenaline shot in a movie is like a kind of a copper-colored liquid, right? That's the general. This is an adrenaline shot, or even just a syringe, and then suddenly I'm up and fighting. You're like, oh, that was probably adrenaline.
Yeah.
But he pops like a literally like a fluorescent green liquid with no context. Literally, they don't tell you shit. It's just he opens up a pouch, hits his fucking leg with this. Which it looked like he had like even an ejection port
yeah.
built into his suit.
He's a diabetic.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was. I also really liked the score of the movie.
Soundtrack was phenomenal.
I dug Alfred.
Alfred was really cool.
And I dug Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon was not like a notable performance from me.
I mean, Jeffrey Wright, I think gave us a solid performance.
He did fine. I'm glad they also didn't have to do a deep dive
Yeah.
origin in their relationship. It was like Gordon's helping Batman out because he trusts him, and Batman trusts Gordon, and that was it.
Yeah,
We're like, okay, well, that's how we're gonna operate.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of cool scenes where like you can tell at this point Batman is like pretty vicious, like because he seems to be hitting random people. I feel like sure, bigger stuff, but like the way when he saves a person, the way she reacts, like.
He's very clearly not a symbol of heroic justice in Gotham during this time frame. He's literally just the crazy vigilante that is out there.
Yeah, so it's man, it's really good. It's really good, guys. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Go see it.
We brought up like generational Batmans. Dude, fucking Batman. Was it? Batman Begins was 2005.
The animated?
Huh? No, Batman Begins, the first Christian Bale movie.
Oh fuck yeah.
That's
and it
wild.
feels like it really. Honestly, you watch
Senior year
it.
of high school.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the longer it goes with the Christian Bale Batmans, the less I actually like them.
Really?
Yeah. Besides like a Heath Ledger Joker performance, because it just will never be not good. All the rest of the movies, they don't. I don't think they age well for me.
I actually kind of have to agree.
I haven't seen them since it came out.
Having watched them probably within the last year, maybe two. I didn't find them as enjoyable. There were obviously notable scenes, especially with the Joker. Yeah, the hospital scene is just brilliant. One of my favorite scenes in any movie ever. But yeah, other than that, they were. I feel like they were off tonally because it didn't feel like Gotham, right?
Oh my god, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, this one.
Oh, it feels like Gotham, baby.
The Gothic architecture that is everywhere.
That's
and
cool.
it's some of these places, like even Wayne Manor, like the way it looks inside is not what you would expect the standard Wayne Manor to look like, and it's not like gargoyle level fucking stonework and stuff. But you're like, holy shit, that's it's wealthy because of the intricacy in their fucking walls and shit like that.
It's cool. I really like. It didn't seem like a standard like New York City.
Yeah,
like
because
essentially
Gotham City's supposed to be a real shithole.
Well, it's both. There's clearly parts of Gotham that are that old Gothic architecture.
Yeah.
Wrapped around a New York City style place because they have skyscrapers and big screen TVs.
Yeah, totally. But as far as what we got in the Christian Bale trilogy was all very clean for the most part.
Everything was pretty clean.
Yeah.
Besides Wayne Manor.
It didn't feel like Gotham to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely. So, and it's also how most cities will work too. So, a lot of your like municipal buildings will be older architecture and stuff because they've been around for so long. So like the police headquarters, city hall, Wayne Manor is like probably clearly a historical building. A lot of these places, and those are all the ones that have that really Victorian era kind of architecture, and it's great.
Cool.
Mixed in with more modern stuff.
Yeah. I would say the big points are the detective aspect of it, the fact that it doesn't really feel like a comic book Batman movie,
which is awesome because that's one thing that I kind of missed from especially newer Batman movies. Like we got a little bit of with the Tim Burton stuff, but not a whole lot. Was he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective?
Yeah,
right?
And like you can tell they're like this is a Batman of like calculating intellect. He doesn't have he's not a very compassionate Batman. He's pretty cold, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, he's out there literally trying to fucking scare people, and that's kind of his main drive is trying to create like a fear persona to get crime to stop. But the thing is too is it's like in this point in the timeline, it's like it's not working. Like what he's doing is not working. They talk about how they have the big classic Batman stuff to where Maroni, the crime boss, has been like locked up and whatnot. But Gotham has gotten worse since he's here. Like crime, death, drug use is all still going up, and he's like, I got to keep trying to save this town. It's like, well, you got to.
I love that dichotomy though of how how Batman is a reason for crime.
Yeah.
I like seeing that kind of thing where the more crime stopping he does, the more it grows because he's effectively creating enemies.
Well, so it's slightly different than that. So they definitely like that's kind of the whole premise with the Joker and stuff is that Batman and the Christian Bale ones is like your existence,
he creates a villain.
Right? So they're kind of looking at that a little bit differently. So Batman's not the catalyst for like all the rise in crime and stuff like that. It's literally not until probably the end of the movie when Batman's talking to Riddler, when it kind of clicks with Batman that like this is going to become a problem, but it wasn't the catalyst for all the previous crime. It's literally this like, oh shit, this is the first like big dude to show up that's like a crazy and stuff. And I'm thinking like, man, and it's hard to talk about without really spoiling stuff. But it's been done before, so I don't feel like it's a huge spoiler and stuff. I'll just say this. Riddler essentially is like identifying with Batman as an ally because they're both trying to clean up Gotham in a way through different methods. But then Batman's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a lunatic. And I'm not, I like you at all. But then like gears kind of grind and he's like, oh shit. This is going to be, this might be a thing now. But they definitely didn't imply that since Batman came around, he's the catalyst for crime. There's many other things that happen that just Gotham's going to the shithole. What they're trying to establish is that Batman, the current method that he's using to try to clean up Gotham has not been working. And that's the whole like Dark Knight vengeance, beat up people, fear me kind of thing. Yeah. So.
Punitive measures.
Yeah.
Don't work.
And it makes me want to play another Arkham game again because
Speaking of
punch.
the new Gotham Knights game actually just got its release date.
Which is when? When is it?
It's not till October.
Okay, got time.
Or August? August or October.
I might have beat Elden Ring by then.
I was going to say.
But that looks pretty cool. You wanna co-op with me?
Yeah, man.
Dibs
for
on
sure.
Red Hood.
October 25th.
It was October.
Nice.
Dibs on Red Hood.
Don't doubt yourself.
Dibs on Batgirl.
Fair enough.
Do I get a wheelchair?
Well, I mean, it depends on the Batgirl.
If I don't get a wheelchair, then I don't know who I'm gonna play. I actually
Alfred.
I don't even know who's in that game. So
It's Robin, or it's going to be Tim Drake, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Red Hood.
And Adam
I'll be
West
Nightwing
Batman.
for sure.
Yeah,
Nightwing's dope.
Nightwing is pretty dope.
They missed it.
I missed it too.
What?
I said, and Adam West's Batman.
Speaking of Adams, they
Ow!
they kind of do like a flash of all the upcoming DC movies as a trailer in that one, and I am super looking forward to Black Adam, which is The Rock playing Black Adam.
Yep.
Okay.
That looks
just
dope.
looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
The dude's already literally built like a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
They showed a Doctor Strange trailer. I'm already on board for anything Doctor Strange.
Like a new trailer?
I don't know. I haven't been watching the Doctor Strange trailers. This was actually the first time I saw the trailer. So
Doctor Strange looks really, really good.
It looks like it's going to be good. Russ, did you watch the Obi-Wan trailer?
no.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, buddy.
I said I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to watch the Obi-Wan trailer.
All right. That's fair.
I know I'm already going to watch the show. That's
Sure.
That's the one where like I know they're going to spoil shit that I might deter me from wanting to watch the show. So I'm not going to do it.
I mean, it definitely excited Nick and Josh.
Oh, cool. That's
So,
good. That's a good.
yeah.
Well, Nick being excited about it is good. Josh
me
being
too.
excited about it is
Is-
standard.
Yeah,
So.
Star Wars.
Just because they yanked my music dick.
Yeah.
They're like, John Williams. And I was like, okay, you get one more shot.
Dude, like, at one point, just like, you just hear Duel of the Fates ramping up,
Yeah.
and it just, oh my God, they just get
I did
that
see
Star
from
Wars
the-
boner going hard in me.
Yeah, I saw from the trailer link that you posted that it's taking place 10 years after.
I didn't
Return of
notice
the
that.
Sith.
I just watched the thing. So
At the very least, they made a damn good trailer.
Yeah.
That's cool. So,
This is
and
really
if it's
good.
10 years, that puts us about half the midpoint between Return and Empire or New Hope, right? Because that's about 19 years.
I mean, if you don't want spoilers, it's kind of hard to say, but you know why and what Obi-Wan's doing at that point. So
I think, honestly, have you seen Star Wars Rebels?
No.
It puts us at around the same time frame as that.
Okay. We're gonna get the mall fight, aren't we?
they don't show him in the trailer.
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, you know,
They kind of covered that in Rebels.
okay. Well, I figured they'd want to pull it back out. For,
Here's the thing: Maul cannot be convinced Obi-Wan is dead because he needs to kill him himself, right? So if Maul's going to be in the show, he'll be in the show.
I don't think Maul's going to be in this show. I would like to see some live action Darth Maul, and that's totally possible because Darth Maul rolls around for a little while.
Really, all I got to do is go look up Ray Parks' IMDb and see if he's fucking credited for the movie. And you'd be like, because you know they'll bring him back for it.
Yeah. Man, you think he can still move like that, bro?
Yeah. He's a martial artist. He's still doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, are you guys ready to take a break? It's about that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to
Left.
squeeze the
This is a
lemon.
pre-recorded message.
When we come back, we'll have some video game news.
I've already left.
Fuck you,
Pre-recorded
Bobby.
messages.
Pre-recorded message.
We'll be right back, guys. Activision Blizzard news.
Fuck you, Bobby.
It's actually some positive news if you care about this kind of
They're
thing.
getting sued again.
If only. Actually, they are. I could talk
Yes.
about that. No, so it's actually gaming related. Holy shit.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So we're not getting BlizzCon this year, so they decided that they're going to slate out some the release schedule. So far, what we have on the docket, March 15th, is a Hearthstone expansion reveal.
Whatever.
New Hearthstone content for people
Hearthstone.
that are into it. Then March 18th, the World of Warcraft Arena World Championship begins. Take it or leave it.
Also, whatever.
April 19th, though, they reveal the next expansion for World of Warcraft.
Cool. I don't even play that game, but I do look forward to those because it's essentially advancing the lore.
And you're going to get
Plus a
fucking
brand new
sick
trailer.
trailers.
Yeah, and we're
Six
gonna get a
cinematics.
cinematic.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So while I probably won't play it because I have to abstain from Activision Blizzard games, I look forward to it anyways. Then in May, date TBD, they are announcing a Warcraft mobile game.
It's called Hearthstone.
It's called War Survival Fight Wars.
So
the puzzle game.
In February, it was leaked that they've been working on a Warcraft mobile game for a while now.
It's a puzzle battler.
Nobody knows.
But
Puzzle battler soul.
I know.
what do they mean by a Warcraft mobile game?
It's another one.
There's like 5 in Hearthstone.
Yeah. Well,
It's just going to be the fishing mechanic.
this one's not Hearthstone related. Which, honestly, if they did stuff like being able to do your skill ups and that kind of thing mobile, I think that'd be great.
You know what?
Are you
it's gonna
thinking
be?
this is going to be
It's gonna be
tied
pet battles.
into World
It's
of
gonna
Warcraft?
be. It's gonna be an auto battler. It's gonna be
Maybe.
an auto chess.
Yeah.
A year and a half too late.
Yep.
Yep.
Activision Blizzard's really leaning hard into that Warcraft stuff here. Do they have anything else out on the docket, or was this
not yet.
just okay?
Yeah, so this is actually a leak.
Okay.
Yeah, so and this graphic was not made by Blizzard. This was made by Wowhead,
Okay.
who covers mostly Activision Blizzard news.
All right.
So yeah, it looks like there's going to be some content coming up, which is cool. A Warcraft mobile game. I would just honestly, I'd like to see pet battles be mobile. It's something that you can already do in the game. It's the perfect thing for a fucking mobile game.
Yeah, it's called Pokemon.
I understand that,
Been out
but
for 30
listen,
years.
Listen, yeah, Pet Battles has been in Warcraft now for fucking 8 years. It's a thing that they're doing already. So if they bring it to the mobile platform, especially if it works in concert with your actual pet collection that you have in the game and stuff, I think that's neat.
Just make a good game.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. Stop making bad mobile games.
So, is the mobile game question here? Is the mobile game for you, someone who's already got established characters, or is it going to be for me?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
All
So
we know is
it's
that they're
still just
gonna
that.
reveal a mobile
Okay.
game that
Oh,
month.
it's just the reveal.
The
Okay,
the
gotcha.
reveal doesn't happen until May.
Oh,
It'll be like,
okay.
It'll be like Hearthstone. So it'll be like a new game that you can start fresh from, but also lets you tie in something with your account from the other games.
It would just be nice if it worked in some kind of way with your World of Warcraft account.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't get a boon.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I'm just saying, is it going to
Bennies
be
for
more?
everyone.
Is it going to be? Yeah, is it going to be more targeted for the old school player who's excited about the championships and all
I can
that
bet you
stuff,
right now they're
or-
going to try to use it to get people to play WoW again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially with the new WoW expansion. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, subscribers count down. Let's put out a mobile game that ties into WoW so people will play.
I mean,
yeah.
it does seem like a good time to be really doubling down on WoW while there's a kind of a content drought otherwise, other than
COVID's almost over. You guys are running out of time.
right. I mean, it is one of the only games that dropped in players during COVID, which is
Poor
wild.
you've done.
It'd be kind of a cool mechanic if you could if you were playing World of Warcraft and doing a pet battle, that you also had access to all the mobile players doing it as well.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Because it's kind of you don't really see like the full version of the game interacting with like a mobile version of the game.
Right. So maybe some kind of queue-based pet battle system. Right now, you have to go out in the world to do your pet battles. You have to see the other player to do pet battles. But add a queue system. I mean, why the hell not? There's a queue system for literally everything else now at this point. So throw that in there, integrate it with the mobile game, and ta-da. Like, especially if you can, like, especially if it matters in the actual MMO with characters that are now almost 20 years old at this point. It'd be kind of nice to integrate them into something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want a dating sim with Thrall, Jim Raynor, one of the dwarves from the 3 dwarf game.
Sure.
And I don't know, Vol'jin. Just 4 dudes and a dwarf. Dating sim. They all live in the same apartment. It's a sitcom.
Who do you play as?
The camera.
Okay.
And you have to get the right shots. It's like Pokemon Snap, but dad drama.
Then all I'm trying to do is get Vol'jin with the cutest one, which is Thrall. I mean, let's be real here.
It's a dating sim, so you're trying to fuck all of them.
Mm-hmm. It's like The Office. You're the guy behind the camera, but then it gets all weird and gonzo because Vol'jin's like, cooking's done, food's here, and he's naked.
I can only masturbate so much.
Exactly.
This game's breaking all masturbation records across
you
the
want
nation.
WoW subscribers, you got to get weird with it, man.
You got to give them Vol'jin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that fourth wall's gonna need a wipe down.
That's what happened. Just the player base has really fallen off since they killed off Vol'jin. That's what happened.
The dating sim's just called like Elwyn Forest.
Oh yeah, dude.
So what's the name of the sex
Goldshire
RP server?
Inn.
Goldshire.
What is the
Dark Moon?
No.
It doesn't matter. There was a sexual role-playing server, at least people knew to role-play sexually in World of Warcraft. I can't remember the name of that specific server was. Moonstone, Viagra, something like that.
It'll come to me.
Yeah. Lion's Pride Inn, according to chat. But anyways, what else we got on the docket?
So, just wanted to talk briefly about Twitch Plays Elden Ring, because I think this is really fun. Thank you, Moonguard.
Moonguard.
So, Bruce Greene of Funhouse and Rooster Teeth fame has become a dedicated streamer. He's left the Funhouse and Rooster Teeth, and I guess HBO owns them now. No, their parent company is AT&T. AT&T owns Rooster Teeth. Whatever. Anyways, he's left there. He's dedicated his life to streaming video games on Twitch. He had a brilliant idea to do subathon, meaning that until he hits his sub goal, he's going to keep his cam on and his stream on for 24/7. And during this time, he figured, well, I need, to give chat something to do. So he decided he was going to figure out how to do Elden Ring. Twitch chat plays Elden Ring. And it is fucking fantastic. It looks like a blast,
now,
to be honest.
I'm sure Russ was probably familiar with Twitch Plays Pokemon.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this format?
Yeah. Andy talked to me about it earlier, and I was like, "Oh, that's really neat. I understand how it could work well with Pokemon. How the fuck does it work with Elden Ring?"
Well, those are the instructions on screen. Basically, Bruce set up a little diagram on screen to say what you can put into chat to give a command to the character. The only problem is that hundreds, if not thousands, of other people are giving him the commands at the same time. So it's like trying to write Shakespeare with 100 monkeys and typewriters in a closed room, right? You get to watch the hilarity. I got to play a little bit of Twitch Plays Pokemon back in the day.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was stupid.
Oh, yeah, it's just
fun.
a blast. It's like a community-driven event. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is his channel?
Twitch.tv/Bruce. I believe it's Bruce Bruce Greene. BruceGreene.
So yeah, if you
I kind of want to know why he has the Bloodhound's Fang if this character was ran by Twitch, because that took me 2 hours and like 20 plus deaths to fucking get that sword.
I'm pretty sure this is his actual character. Like, this is his main.
Oh, okay.
So he's playing during the on hours, and Twitch is playing his character during the off hours.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
It's nice of him to share like that.
Yeah. Especially because they're just like using and abusing his items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, fuck, I woke up with no flasks again. Right.
Yep.
So fun and interesting. Just
That's cool, man. I like it. I think it's a neat idea.
yeah. In more Elden Ring news, it nears 1 million concurrent players on Steam, placing it sixth of all time.
Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, great for FromSoft figuring out like the perfect formula to get an absolutely brutal fucking series of games into the hands of like everybody.
I'm thinking about buying. I'm thinking about getting it,
and then don't show anything for 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how you do it,
dude. Everything I read about it, I've watched Mike play it for a while now, and now he gets frustrated. And
yeah,
so do I. But like, I don't know, dude. Like the freedom of that open world, and how it's like it is the most. It's simultaneously like one of the harder editions of their games, like from softwares, but also really easy because you can just walk around and go get some stuff and do it.
You have the option of just not
the freedom.
In the previous Dark Souls, if you come across the boss, you got to do it. You can stop and grind for a minute, but it's not going anywhere. And in Elden Ring, at least you come across something and you're like, that just like whoopee cushion me. I'm gonna go this way now.
Yeah, like you can just no, that's what they're talking about. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking because like when I watch a Dark Souls game being played, I'm like, ooh, that is not for me.
To be honest, to dive back into this long-standing stupid conversation, should there be an easy mode in Dark Souls? I think they invented one, and that easy mode is it's an open world game. If you encounter something that's kicking your shit in, you get to go somewhere else, right? Like it's just kind of baked into the mechanics now that like you get to set your own difficulty. If you want to bang your head against the wall that is the Tree Sentinel or Margit, you can do that, but nothing's stopping you from going and doing something else for a while.
That's what a lot of these articles and a lot of the players were saying is that like the game bosses, like the Margaret and like the Tree Sentinel, like if you just go through linearly. Thank you. If you just do that, you're going to be underpowered to face these guys. And some of these bosses are like they're tough fucking bosses, right? Like I don't know. I haven't played a lot of Dark Souls games, but
you could also
the articles I read, it's like Margit is a hard boss, like from any of their games.
I had more trouble with the fucking one of the side optional bosses than I did with him, but. You could also, I was rolling around with Sabo and his buddy the other day. You can just be a magic user.
Yeah.
If you want to be a magic user in that game, you will just fucking Kamehameha beam fucking everything to death instantly. It's fucking retarded. I was literally watching them. They're both magic users.
It's a bit of a diversion from the previous styles. Magic's always been in the game, but I never played with it too much. 2 of the games I played with it, one of them I played without using magic, but from what I saw, it was certainly helpful, but it wasn't ever like, this is the easy mode, right? So
it definitely, I'm 20 hours in. I haven't watched like anybody else play, but when we're playing, but when I see them roll through there, like I fought my second big boss in the storyline, which is Godric, I believe.
Dragon Dude. And this guy phased him almost immediately with his massive beam, and really all he had needed to do is like have him stop targeting him for like half a second so he could get his spell off. And you can have summons, so you can just wait till the summon pulls aggro. In this case, I'm the guy trying to pull aggro, but and then you just super beam them, and it's gross. It's so gross. One thing that Dark Souls has always had, maybe to a lesser extent, is items or tools or equipment they've given you that are almost seemingly designed to cheese the game. And that was always their original version of easy mode. Like when you first start the game of Dark Souls 2, contentious or otherwise, you very quickly find a pair of binoculars. And you learn, if through experiment, that when you look at something with the binoculars and you switch to your bow, your arrow goes exactly where you were looking. So if you're having trouble with an enemy, from far away, you lock on them with the binoculars, and then you shoot them to death. And they like specifically set that up so that is an option. If you want to take it, you can do that. Like we do not hold it against anybody if you need to cheese this certain enemy, because at the end of the day, like that's kind of how Dark Souls works. You don't have to take everything honorably and head on. Like I talked to Adam about a couple of the boss fights he did, and it's like some of them is like I got my enjoyment out of trying. And then I cheesed it because I wanted to keep playing the game. It's like, that is fair. Yeah. That is fair. So I'm pleased that the first boss that I ran my head against a bunch, which was the one where I got my cool sword from, was I went in, I tried to fight him before. He whooped my ass. I was like, I'll come back later. I come back later.
I'm more powerful. I'm like, I'm going to try this now. And I'm fighting him. I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing a good amount of damage, which means realistically I can kill him. And then at one point in one of my tries, I had him down to like a little under halfway life. And I'm like, okay, so I can do this. And I left, made some slight like upgrades because I hadn't done any smithing stones on any of my weapons yet. So I'm like, well, I'm going to make my weapon be a little bit more damage. Because if it does a little bit more damage, I'll kill him a little bit faster. I don't have to live as long. And then I also realized like he was off, like he was building a bleed meter up on me when he would hit me. And like, so I got a shield. So like, even if he's hitting me with my shield up, the bleed meter still goes up. And when it fills, it takes like a chunk of your life away. So I realized in that fight too, that like, if I can just stay away from him for a little bit to get that bleed meter back down, he's going to be doing less damage to me. And after like 20 plus tries, a slight weapon upgrade, I took him down and it's like fucking cool. But I don't really know where I was going with that other than like I didn't have to cheese him. There's also, I feel like the game has plenty of pathways for you to legitimately defeat stuff. You may not know what they are because it's pretty vague and obscure a lot of the time. But like I had one point, I'm like walking around, it's a giant fucking turtle walking around. It's got a big monastery on its back and a bell under its belly.
Pope turtle.
Yeah, fucking Pope turtle.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's really fucking cool. And I'm like riding around. I'm like, I don't know what to do about this. But then I found a merchant that sold like some of the merchants sell these little like info sheets. They'll have like some cryptic thing written on it. And one of them was like, clean the feet of the turtle or something like that. So I went over to the turtle and I'm like, oh yeah, I can knock these little barnacles off of its feet. That seems relevant. And I do them all. And the fucking monastery sits down. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I go in the monastery and they're like, there's nothing in there. There's no loot. And then you go up to an altar and it says like, you can recall remembrance. And I'm like, what the fuck is a remembrance? Like, yeah, I'm literally like, I don't have one of those. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'd want to recall one. And there's no items in there. So I was like super frustrated that I managed to knock this turtle temple down.
Without trying to spoil things, Adam encountered a boss that had a super cheesy mechanic that he found out later on that you can get rid of if you do a certain thing with an NPC at a given time that you have to do before you even encounter the boss.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Yes,
it's not
that's
doable.
right. Yeah.
And it's like, I think I talked about before when we talked about Elden Ring, like that's how like 90s Japanese RPGs kind of worked. Like you had this sense of forced agency where it's like, if you don't do this thing now at this perfect time in the perfect place, you change the ending of the game, or like you don't get the option. I was talking about Final Fantasy VII. There's like 2 or 3 characters that you can just not get if you don't do it. Like Yuffie and Vincent and probably Kate Sith, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, it's like, that's how it is. You know, you just might miss out on shit and you don't know any better, and tough fucking luck, you know? Yeah.
I've been enjoying, I'm about 20 hours in. I'm still having fun. Still enjoying it.
I don't know, like the only complaints I can find about the game after like a couple of weeks and several articles and lots of videos is it can't consistently run at like 60 frames per second, right? Like that's a bit of a technical issue. They're trying to fix that. But
From what I
like,
gathered in a nutshell, there was some stuttering or quality issues
and
that a lot of people didn't notice, but everyone is getting them. Whether you notice or not, it's like baked into the game.
The funny thing is, like, I've only seen Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and stuff like that played, really, like all the games. So I'm playing the new Elden Ring, which is supposed to be like pretty and has all this stuff, but it looks to me like Dark Souls and Demon Souls does. So I'm like, this is normal. This is what this game looks like. I don't.
but like that's literally the only complaint I can find. Some minor technical complaints. It's like could be the game of the generation, you know.
The questing is contentious. Again, tying back into what Russ was saying, like there's shit that you can do or not do, and you don't really know what it is you're doing or what you're supposed to be doing. Like, what do I get for knocking the barnacles off the Pope turtle's feet? You know, the game's not going to tell you.
I do now know what those are for. The game eventually does, you know, kind of show you.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. And like, that's kind of down to personal opinion on if that bothers you or not.
Yeah.
I do need to get my faith up so that I can graft a dragon head to my arm. That has to happen now.
Yeah, Adam did a full faith build on his playthrough.
I'm not going to do full faith. I literally just want that one item. Yeah, sure. I'm doing a dex build, so it's fun. No, so I jumped on I'm playing on the Xbox, which I do regret, but here I am. And sometimes I'll jump into my buddy Sabo's party, and he'll have usually multiple people in there, from like 3 people So I've seen 6 people in there, which is horrendous. I don't like having that many people in any group chat ever, especially when there's no cohesion because everyone's doing different things, you know?
Yeah.
But what's worse is that they're all like, it became apparent to me how different people play the game because they're all discussing things like this is the best weapon in the game and this is like you got to go over here to get it and then we got to go do this, you get this armor and you can level this up and stuff, and I'm like, I'm over here like level 25 exploring this nook in this pond, you know, I'm like, what is that thing? I'm like, oh, I could check that out and stuff. And then I have these guys just like, blah, blah, you got to do this. If you don't do this, you're going to be underpowered. Yeah, they're literally like power gaming this thing. And I'm like,
this is the worst way to play a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, I was out. I was like, I'm different
the
from
game.
this party
You're not
chat.
going to enjoy I think a lot of people are going to lose enjoyment out of a game if they play it to win.
I literally had so one of them comes in because Sable was going to help me. He had to go. So his buddies helps me with Godric. We're fighting Godric. And that's one he like super mega magicked him and stuff. But there's a part when he's like phasing that the guy I'm with is like, oh, this is what he's going to do now is he's going to cut his hand off and then graft that dragon head to it. And I'm like, I'm watching the cutscene.
Yeah.
It's literally like we're 3 seconds before it's happening. This guy's telling me what's going to be like happening. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? Do you get some sense of like perverted joy out of spoiling the thing that's literally happening right now to me?
Yes. Engagement.
I did appreciate his help. He also dropped me some better armor, which is cool because it was almost weirdly frustrating. The initial armor that I got, I started as a samurai. It was pretty decent fucking armor to where like I found 3 or 4 other sets of armor in the game, and none of them are better than the fucking starting armor. And it's like frustrating because I want to change the way my character looks, but like I can't. No, so
I don't know how it is in this newest one, but in the older Dark Souls, you would pick a starting class, which would kind of set you up with a little tiny bit of gear. It would array your stats in such a way as to lean you towards a certain build or not. And then you had the option of picking this extraneous item. And the items are like the Lost Fool Ring or the Second Flower of Dawn.
You do this in this one.
And you have no idea what the items do. And some of those items, like in Dark Souls 2, one of them didn't do anything. One of them like actively hampered you, passively you couldn't tell, like from the mechanics. And the other one's like, you can't get this into the game unless you pick this item.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So I did that. And you know,
Is it similar in Elden Ring?
it's yeah. So I made my character and stuff. It gives you that option of like pick your like heirloom or whatever it was called, and it doesn't really tell you what any of them do.
Oh, it never does. Yeah.
And I wasn't going to Google it because I'm like, I don't know. And so you know which one I end up going with is literally a fucking golden rune, which is just a one-use item to give yourself some souls. That's literally my item. I'm like, about 10 hours into the game when I collected other ones, and I'm like, wait, that was my starting heirloom. And I'm like, fuck, god damn it.
At this point, when I play Dark Souls games now, I just go with the, what do they call it? The Naked Barbarian, the Tarnished or whatever. I don't know if they have that option in Elden Ring, but you have an option just starting naked with a stick. Yeah. Like, that's like, just give that to me and we'll see how it goes. You know?
As well as chat's talking about, and I've been told this as well, armors are substantially less important into the game, which is the only reason I even accepted armor from this other guy, was because it had been explained to me that like your weapon and your level and all that is way more important and stuff. And I wanted my character to
look cool.
Yeah, I want him to look better.
You want to look cool.
I was tired of looking like a samurai, like it's super generic. And
yeah,
I like samurai, but I don't want to. It didn't. The only reason I chose the samurai initially and stuff is because I liked his base stats and I knew I wanted to kind of play a dex build.
Yeah,
because I wanted to do fast stuff.
What's weird about Dark Souls is, unlike so many other games, is if you don't get hit, your armor doesn't matter. Like there's so many people who play through Dark Souls with the intention of like their defense is just don't get hit. Yeah. And like, you think of like, what are some analogies? Like Force Unleashed is kind of like Dark Souls in the sense that it's like an action fighting game. And you have maybe like, I don't know, Batman Arkham might have some strange parallels, but it's so weird that it's kind of baked into the system that if your armor's just there to make you take less damage of various types, then you can either like lean into it and go like full armor, or you could just not, and you roll faster, you move faster, you run faster. So by not wearing heavy armor and whatnot, you are getting a benefit. It's making it that you're less likely to get hit. But then if you do get hit, you're going to die. So it built in different play styles right off the bat.
Yeah, I've been told about Fashion Souls and how that's a prominent part of the game.
I still got screenshots somewhere from DS2 and 3 of all the weird outfits I made. It's so much fun.
So, how different is, because that's another thing I've been reading, is that the open world is very different from, say, like your Ubisoft or open world. Like, you know, your...
the open world
Cry,
aspect
yeah.
of this game is just, all it is a way for me to just kind of run around and check stuff out.
So, I mean, like, with the, like, is there, like, the map, is there any, like, you're just, like, there's no pointers or question marks or, like, hey, go over to the fucking grandma's shack to get the fucking thingummy.
So you don't have a map of the regions unless you go and get it for each different region. And when you do, it pops up. There's nothing on it. It fills it in with, like, the terrain.
But, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying when I say, like, that Ubisoft open world map, right? Like...
You're talking
Far
about
Cry 6.
icons
Yeah.
and UX and UI. Yeah, I've read a lot about this. So I've played a lot of Ubisoft-esque open world games, the Assassin's Creed, the Horizon Zero Dawn and whatnot, Far Cry. We've all kind of played those games.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this before, again, last time we talked about Dark Souls or Elden Ring. But Dark Souls already has been leaning towards a quote-unquote open world since they started making the games, because they are linear, but the level design and the area design and the way those levels connect has just gotten more interconnected and open as the games have gone on. This really feels like just the natural progression to where they come from. There are no camps to go clear enemies out of. There are no towers to climb to scout out an area, from what I've gathered, right? And more importantly, the map, although it doesn't have in-your-face icons like Far Cry might have or something, there's enough diegetic information in the map that you can see something on the map and be like, that looks like it's a thing, and I can go there.
Yeah.
It might not be as stark as, like, I was looking at Breath of the Wild's map, where Breath of the Wild had a really good in-game map. You could see something on it and be like, I think there's something there. But whether the game should have icons or not, I don't know. That's a big hubbub right now. I was reading about it today. So am I right in that you can place your own icons?
Yeah, you can place your own mic.
If you need to, like, remember where something's at, you know, and I think there's also the in-game option of turning that stuff off, but I might be thinking of another game.
I mean, does it hit differently than that Ubisoft open world game, or does it just feel like Dark Souls in an open world?
It doesn't even, I don't like,
Or,
I'm with
you
the
know-
Nick
you know
camp
what I
is
mean?
what he's trying to say, is that it doesn't even feel like Dark Souls in an open world to me. Having watched somebody play through all the Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, and the Bloodborne games, this to me just feels like the exact same game. It feels a little bit bigger because their stuff's more spread out. But realistically, the pathways, the backtracking, the exploration, the dungeon stuff, it just all feels like a Dark Souls game. If you don't like having to, like, travel a bit farther to find stuff, then it might be slightly irritating. But you can also, unlike the other ones, there's like a fucking bonfire, which they call grace sites, like every fucking 100 yards in this game. It seems like you can't turn around without tripping over one. So if you ever need to get somewhere that you've been before, there's going to be a fucking teleporter a stone throws away from it, which is nice. It's convenience, a convenience item. But yeah, it doesn't feel like an open world game to me, because it's not like there's this desire to go collect quests out in the world and do stuff. It's just like, do I want to explore, or do I want to go where the game tells me I should be going next? That's the decision you make.
And you touched on a thing I was trying to kind of work towards earlier, is when you play something like Far Cry or Horizon Zero Dawn or Assassin's Creed, you have 37 camps on your map and 84 towers and 94 flags, and you have this unconscious Pavlovian desire to go clear them out and finish them, right? Like, you come across a camp and you get that weird feeling once you're a few hours in the game, you're like, another camp. Well, I might as well do it while I'm here so I don't have to go back and do it again, even though you don't have to do it at all, but you do because it's marked on the map as a thing to do, and you need to do it to take that number
clear
counter
that
out.
grayed out area.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Elden Ring does not have that.
I found like 96 lighters in Far Cry 5.
Exactly.
There's definitely not that feel in the game at all. And I play this similarly to how I do play most open world games, which is like, I will swap back and forth between exploring the world and playing through the main storyline. And I do that with no trigger or anything. It's like I'll do some main storyline stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I want to go explore for a little bit. So then I go explore, and then I come back to the main storyline. And I'll do that with almost every open world game I play. And I do try to kind of prioritize checking out the new zones as I unlock them. That's habit. But
having, I believe, your last open world game be Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I did play some Horizon Zero Dawn.
The original or the new one?
The original.
Okay. I think if you were to play Elden Ring soon,
God of War
you're
is
gonna,
arguably open world, isn't it?
I haven't played the newest one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
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 I played God of War too.
Yeah.
And you've never played any of the Souls-like games.
No.
I just think you're going to be in for. I mean, you've seen Mike play it, so you're not like fully new to it. But it's going to be a stark difference from what you're used to.
I want to see you karate chop your dining room table.
Josh is going to need new furniture.
Yeah.
Gonna defenestrate Mike.
Yep.
Oh no.
So far, I haven't really encountered anything in my playthrough that I found overly frustrating. Even running my head against that boss and stuff, I knew the entire time that like I didn't have to be doing that, and it didn't. The game to me advertises when you're too weak to do something. Most of the
It
time,
lets you know.
yeah, by killing you repeatedly with you doing almost no damage.
Like when I'm watching Mike play the game, that's the number one thing I look at is like that fucking Quasimodo looking motherfucker just murked you, bro. And I was like, is he he didn't even have a fucking name, dog. And he's like, but there's two of them. And I was like,
multiple enemies is the worst.
Okay. I was like,
Oh man.
all right,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, like I said, there's sometimes that like the most frustrating thing for me happens when you die to some scrub mob just because you forgot you were playing a Dark Souls game where anything can kill you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how powerful I think I am in that game. A fucking dog that I killed 300 of in the first zone will kill me if I just stop being on guard.
It's a lesson you have to learn the hard way. Nobody can teach you that.
Yeah.
You just have to play Dark Souls and realize that you're going to go through that phase where you're saying bullshit every 17 seconds for roughly the first 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, wait, this game isn't cheating. I'm just not good enough. So either I'm going to get better or I'm going to cheese it. And like, that's where you have to go.
What I do like is that it's taught me to really try to pay attention to like enemy fighting mechanics, and it's not something that I'm not particularly. There's not many games where you do that, and it really makes a difference too in like how you approach an encounter. I know that I had like I had a struggle with this one, not even a boss, literally just I guess called a lieutenant. It'd be like a lieutenant. You'll start like you fight the one, and then right after that, you run into more of them on a regular occasion, right? But that first encounter is to kind of teach
Boss
you.
becomes regular enemy.
Yeah. Like I said, mini boss lieutenant, and I was already dying. Like I died like 5 times to him, but I started watching the mechanics a little bit, and I realized like, well, my sword is doing like a really good job of like kind of stun locking him for a couple times, but I've been getting greedy and not backing off once that stun lock wears off, and it's cool to like kind of learn those, and things become less scary after you're kind of used to what they're doing.
How soon into the game do you fight your first boss? Like, is it a countable number of enemies?
First of all, you can fight your first boss if you want before you even get out of the starting cave.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was Dark Souls 2 or 3, where after the first 5 or 7 or 8 enemies, which are pretty basic, you fight the first boss. Like, it's there, it's got a name, it's got music, it's got a health bar, and it is nothing like the enemies you just fought for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, actually, I forgot about the fact that there's a boss in the tutorial.
Yeah, I'm not counting the tutorial. I'm thinking of the big iron dude, but yeah, I was just interested to see if they kept that formula of, okay, now you barely know the mechanics of the game. Here's your first real fight, and you're just going to bash your head against it until you learned, okay, this is how the game's going to go.
It wasn't like the 2 Dark Souls games that I only played like maybe 3 hours of, where like you run to that first boss and you pretty much have to fight them to continue, which is nice.
Yeah. See if I can remember which game I'm thinking of. Udik's kind of your Dark Souls 3, yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. Adam just recently finished it. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to talk much about it, but he put 150 hours into it, and he said he's about 80, 85, 90% completed the game. I've been seeing some reports of 30 to 50 hours for completion. So I'm guessing the average person who has some Dark Souls experience 40 to 80 hours probably would be a good range.
I'd also point out that if it's like other Dark Souls games, there's multiple endings.
Oh, not only are there multiple endings, but the moment you finish it, you open up New Game Plus, which is like its own new version of the game. Like your first playthrough is just your first playthrough.
I like things
Most
that
people
do
will
New
play
Game
through it
Plus.
7, 8, 9 times.
I've never been a New Game Plus guy.
It's fun.
If you want to get into the multiplayer PvP, that's kind of the way you have to go. But yeah, that's a whole side thing. So speaking of From Software,
yeah. There's another game coming out from Software. At least there's another game in development from Software. It's a new Armored Core.
Armored Core. Dating myself.
I mean, I haven't. So I've tried Armored Core games since Armored Core 3. I think it was just 4. Yes. Armored Core 3 was good, not quite as good.
It's the last one that I played.
Well, and it was basically almost a carbon copy of 2.
Yeah.
Is that where you
Or the
get
same.
the one where you get to like pick the different like pieces? And
Yeah.
the,
You get to choose your weapons, whether you do treads or legs
All right.
or
Imagine you got the
wheels.
theme of Judge Dredd in Cyberpunk 2077, but it's like Formula One racing where you have all these different companies that sponsor your car, except your car is a mech. So you get to work for different companies to get different shit, and then you go on like Blackwater style missions if you want, or you can go into the arena and fight mechs, or you can do the main storyline. I loved Armored Core so much when I was
Great
younger.
games.
Dope.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Do we have like a estimated?
Like a release
No.
time?
Do we even have an announcement that they're
Screenshot,
making another
or-
one?
So they have announced that they are working on the next
right.
one.
They're
Yeah.
working on the next Armored Core.
So no Souls games for a little bit.
Note that Armored Core 4 and 5, which came out on like the PS3, PS4, somewhere in there, they were garbage. They were really,
they
really,
were not
really
good.
bad. And I don't know what happened there, but it's been almost 15, 20 years since these games came out. So
I own one of them. I think it's 4 on the PS3.
they went way too like over the top, shark
Yeah.
jumpy bullshit combat, fancy anime
So,
nonsense.
given the success of the Souls games and Elden Ring, I'm hoping they dial that back and bring it kind of back into because I can see kind of the inspiration of Souls games from Armored Core. If you think about like the kind of unintuitive controls, taking big damage puts you out of a fight for quite some time. Like there's recovery time. The combat is relatively slow, but with these large animations and they're not big enemies on Armored Core necessarily.
It wasn't Gundam, right? Like there were Gundam games back then that were essentially like Street Fighter, but like Armored Core is like your time to kill is, 20 seconds to a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's not quick.
It's definitely more of a rhythm game than it is like a shooter or something like that.
That might be a good way to put it.
Where and I feel that way of the Souls games too. Is it's like you have to figure out the boss rhythm, right? And once you can understand the tells and that kind of thing, you can have a plan.
One thing I do remember specifically, and you see this in Dark Souls, is that you encounter your first few bosses in Dark Souls, and you come across one who's like hitting you from behind cover, or like he has an undodgeable attack, or like Russ was saying, hit you with status effects. And the arena in Armored Core 2, you get to the top of the arena where you're starting to fight like the really important people, like Ken Griffey Jr.'s and Babe Ruth. And like there's one guy who's using essentially like a javelin system. Rockets go straight up and then down on top of you, and he would just hide behind skyscrapers.
So
and like he'd start the fight, and like he'd just go run away, and then missiles would rain down.
that fight is like the most memorable fight from the games for me.
Yeah.
Because you and I, you rented Armored Core 2 for the PS2. You had the PS2 before I did. And I was over at your house for like several days playing that with you. And
I remember we had to try to cheese that fight because it was too fucking hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can see the inspiration, and I hope that with the success of the Souls games, we kind of get that back. But I could also see them. I can see the want to do something else, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they've been doing in Souls games for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like, especially in modern day Armored Core. I don't feel like Armored Core games are necessarily this generation's cup of tea, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I don't know, man. Like, fucking make me an Armored Core game where I'm fighting a kaiju. Fuck, I'm in, baby.
That was what was
Lost
that?
Planet.
Lost Planet.
Then you
There
want to play
go.
Lost Planet.
Again, Japan has developed so many niche genres that just we don't see anymore in the West. That like I don't know what happened to them. They might still be happening over there, but like I miss them, man.
Lost Planet started as kind of like an almost Starship Troopers in a super barren, snowy setting, where you're fighting bugs. That's kind of unexplained.
Big bugs.
Big bugs,
Kaiju bugs. Yeah.
kaiju bugs, and you do that for about 3/4 of the game, and you're getting more powerful as the game goes on, and eventually you start getting into like little mechs and stuff. And one of the coolest parts of the game is you can just take mech weapons and use them. So you essentially mount them on yourself, and you're fucking using giant mech weapons.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that happens before. Like that's earlier on in the game, and it's super cool. But about 3/4 of the way in, it turns into like hardcore Japanese mecha-tango fucking space combat. Really bizarre turn.
For like the last 2 hours of the game.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. It's
my
great.
least favorite part of the games for sure.
Very weird.
Yeah.
But Lost Planet was an excellent, and it was a really early 360 title, and it was fucking gorgeous for its time. Like, I would rank that up in like the Gears of War, kind of.
Oh, it looks
like,
so fantastic.
It looked so good. I mean, it
one of those games that like when you were playing it, like you couldn't stop recognizing how cool it looked.
It
like
had-
mid game.
It had the best explosions that I had seen in a game up to that point, for sure. In more news, Sony is looking to bring God of War, a show, to Amazon Prime. That
you.
could be interesting. I don't know who plays Kratos, right?
We talked about a little bit outside. Fucking the dude from 300.
Russ is just like, it's Henry Cavill, right? Is that what just happened in your brain?
No, I'm
okay.
I'm trying to erase whatever the fuck Josh just did. I don't
It's
That
burned in
noise
there
came
forever.
along with some physical movements that were.
So they're gonna make a God of War show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's early talks.
Early talks.
I would rather they didn't.
Really?
I kind of agree with that.
I don't think they can. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's
You
gonna
know,
be
it's
so
not
much
gonna be
CG.
Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be Logan. It's
Right.
going to be whatever the fuck X-Men was before Logan.
It's going to be X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know that they could capture what we got in God of War again. Like
Yeah.
on the silver screen,
Then just make me.
It's gonna be CG garbage.
Yeah.
Then just make me like a dope fucking animated thing.
Well, that's acceptable.
That is acceptable.
'Cause you
Like,
also
dude,
get
I
Kratos
just
to
watched
voice
like a
it,
clip
so.
together YouTube history of it because I was like, I want to know the backstory of God of War now because I've only played God of War 4. And I was fucking riveted for an hour and 13 minutes on this YouTube channel about like the fucking story of Kratos and all the fucking game tie-ins and all that shit. It's like, fuck, just make me a CG, like a fully CG thing with good voice actors. I'll watch the fucking piss out of that. Done.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll watch a live action one too. I mean, I have a pretty low bar for entertainment. So
I'd be fascinated to see what it looks like and how it's played out.
I called the fucking Batman though,
It
bro.
looked like the Scorpion
Can't take that
King.
away from me.
Oh God.
Whoa. Okay, that.
I'm sorry, that was rude.
And we are running low on time, but in the last bit of news, I think this makes perfect sense. Stalker 2 has been delayed. Development is on hold because of the invasion of Ukraine.
I just saw a post today that said they might have been bombed.
Yeah.
The headquarters for the studio. I didn't read up on it, so I can't confirm it.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but just because it's unconfirmed yet.
We
But
were,
that's
didn't we
that's
see
cool.
them on the Game Awards this year? Like they
I
like
showed you
preview
the
for
trailer
it.
for Stalker
Yeah.
2 when it came out. The guys around the fire and all the
Yeah.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
their headquarters are in Kyiv, so
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bit.
I do have one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay. One
This
more.
is no one's gonna do it. But if you so care, RimWorld, one of my favorite games, weird post-apocalyptic sci-fi colony simulation, has recently been banned from sale in Australia because they decided it was too dangerous for people to experience. Long story short, it may or may not be getting a console version, and the console version got rated unrated which in the past just means that it doesn't have a rating. So for something like Disco Elysium, which had the same rating, it was still able to come out through Steam on the PC. But randomly last Friday, Australia's like, nope, you can't sell Horizon Zero or RimWorld at all in Australia, and just ban the sale of it. So if you can't go and support them by buying RimWorld, go commit a war crime. Show Australians they can't stop us from making human leather hats. I don't know. Just want to get that out there.
I mean, seriously, guys, you're a fucking prison colony. Get over it.
I know.
Like, really?
Still, Andy, I've got 200-300 hours in the game. I never once had cannibals or war crimes or anything like that. You don't have to, just because it's an option. Like, you sell GTA, maybe.
Listen,
yeah.
Australia, we love you, but this is kind of dumb.
Stop it.
Let people play.
Yeah. Or, I mean, the people listening probably do want to play.
Your flora and fauna are war crimes. Do not come to me with RimWorld when you've got fucking gimpies over there. Trees that will poison my soul.
And chlamydia bears.
You've got venomous birds. Like
They're so poisonous they get my ancestors. Like
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna be it for the week. Unless you guys have anything else.
Is that
Stay hydrated.
Are you all Gucci? Oh, I need some agua.
Some boneless
Gucci.
ice.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back next week with some more podcasts. For now, go fuck off.
Good night and luck.